to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Or, in October, what really scares the living daylights out of me. And today we're going to be talking about ghost movies. Some of which that scared the living daylights out of me, and maybe a few that might have made me chuckle. But these are definitely some fun ghost movies. I am once again joined by Maury and her kitty cat.
Rufus,
the bat cat.
No, the devil cat.
Oh, he's a devil? Oh, my fault.
Sebastian's the bat cat.
Okay. Whatever, we got a devil cat. Since we're not really having too many demons this week, it's just going to be ghosts. So the cat is representing. Well, welcome all of you watching right now, or those that may be watching on the replay. It is now time for some serious ghost movies. And the first one that we want to talk about is none other than Poltergeist. Dun, dun, dun. Well, all you in the chat, what do you think of Poltergeist? Please go ahead and share what you think of Poltergeist. Now, Poltergeist, Maury, came out in 1980.
82.
Oh, 82. Oh, it was that early. Oh, my gosh. Well, I'll be darned.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at a little bit of background about the character Carol Ann, the actress who played Carol Ann, and apparently that she was discovered at the studio, and that previously Drew Barrymore had been up for the role of Carol Ann, but instead they decided to go with her with E.T., and that's how they found their Carol Ann.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then, of course, she tragically died. We might talk about that a little bit later, far too soon. But before we get too deep into it, I want to welcome to the chat. Welcome to Miss Smart Muses, the Sultan Al-Faim. Thank you for joining us here on Miss Smart Muses. Thank you for joining us. Yes, Poltergeist. Poltergeist is one of those movies that has really a lot of iconic moments in it. The whole "they're here," which
they're here,
just still scares the living daylights out of me. But I just want to start a little bit from the beginning on this one, because there are so many things that just scare me to death about it, even today. It starts off with just this family that is a typical suburb. They have neighbors that have their quarrels, and that is actually one of the funnier scenes. I know, Maury, you were mentioning that.
Yeah, the opening scene where they're fighting over the TVs because the houses are so close together that the remotes are on the same frequency, so they change each other's channels.
Yeah, one wanted to watch Mr. Rogers, and the others wanted to watch the football game.
Yeah.
Talk about dating a movie, too. That struggle was real back in the day. The more often, I think, my struggle in my household was there would be one TV. It wasn't like you could choose. And we didn't have VCRs. Those didn't become common until, well, around 82, 83. So what you were going to watch and who was going to watch it was serious. It was serious business. Yes.
Yeah, I had to fight over all 3 channels.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Oh, okay. Welcome, Keck44. Thank you, Keck44. She gosh darn that, is a great mod for me. Thank you for being here. So we have that funny part. And then they set up the whole creepy thing about the snow on the TV. That is something else that dates this movie, is that at the end of the broadcast, which would be midnight, I think, after the evening news, they would just stop broadcasting. They would play the national anthem, and it usually was very patriotic. It had lots of pictures of the fruited plains, and then it would go to snow. So this movie managed to take something that was very familiar like that and turn it into dread. because as we're feeling that something creepy is happening, if you were hearing the national anthem on this movie, you knew, oh my gosh, it's coming, and then we're going to get the snow, and it's going to get incredibly creepy.
No, Carol Ann just talking to the snow on the TV. Yes.
Oh.
That's 6. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. And you're like, don't talk to it. Don't talk to it, you stupid.
Well, she's only 6. She didn't know.
Oh, I know, but you know what I'm saying? And usually when mom and dad tell you not to talk to strangers, you're not expecting them to come out of the TV.
No, don't talk to the TV.
Yeah. You hear strange voices, child. Do not do so. Yeah. So she's kind of talking to them. And then there's something kind of fun at first. These ghosts are fun, where they are moving some things around. And what does she do? She puts a little helmet. The mother puts a little helmet on Mary.
Yeah, they started moving around the chairs around the breakfast table.
Mm-hmm.
And just slid across the room. And then the mom puts Carol, the little football helmet on Carol Ann, and sits her on a little spot, and then it takes Carol Ann across the room.
Yeah, it's really cute, and at first funny. There's nothing wrong with this, but was that also when the chairs get stacked on top of the table?
Yeah,
I think that happened first. Yeah, where the mom was going in and out, and that you saw that. Wait a second, the chairs are in different spots,
and then they do the pyramid on top of the table.
Yes. Within seconds, she leaves and comes back, and that is one heck of a jump scare. The mom scares, and everyone scares. That image is also an iconic thing for all horror movies. Even Skyrim, which I play all the time, has a ghost house, and in one of the rooms, it's set up just the way it is on Poltergeist. It's so classic, and yeah, and then it's fun because she's zipping across the room, and so far doesn't seem to be evil.
Yeah, doesn't seem to be menacing.
Yeah, isn't that the way it always starts off?
Of course.
Mm-hmm. And then one of my favorite scary moments ever is the thunderstorm. And the little boy has a creepy clown that is his fault for having a clown in his closet.
I know, this freaking clown.
Yes, it's one of the freakiest clowns ever. Yes, how do you all feel about clowns in the chat? Tell me, because I don't like clowns. And even he was scared. I'm like, well, then, kid, what?
Like, get rid of the clown.
Get rid of it. Put it in a closet. I don't know. And he does cover it up. But then when he looks again, it's like uncovered, and then it's gone.
That happens at the end of the movie, towards the end.
Oh, was that at the end of the movie?
Yeah, toward the end, whenever after Tangina declares the house clean, so they think, oh, they're gone, the ghosts are gone, and they're like, no, they're not gone, they're just ticked. They're just got madder. And they come back bigger and badder.
Okay, my fault. I guess I skipped ahead. But either way, kid, don't have a clown. But then there was the tree where we've all been asleep during a storm or a gale, and the branches are moving, and you can see shadows on the wall. And the boy is afraid of it, and it looks like it's alive, and he knows it's not alive until it is. And then it bashes through the window and literally takes him out by these tree branches and tries to eat him. I don't know. And he's screaming, and the parents are all coming, and I'm screaming. That's when the ghosts use the opportunity to abduct.
Yep.
Carol Ann.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry, go ahead.
They distract the parents with Robbie.
Yeah. And the pool that they're digging up is half filled with water.
Yeah.
And they think, oh, maybe she got in there and she drowned it. And that's scary because you've got this big thunderstorm and the tree's trying to eat everybody. Carol Ann is missing and they're in this murky, murky water. And we don't know. We don't know what's going to pop out of that thing. But we learn soon that it is a poltergeist. Perhaps this is a good moment to talk about what a poltergeist is versus a ghost, because maybe some purists out there would be, no, a poltergeist is not a ghost. Technically, it is not. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think there's slight differences. I think they say in the movie like there's a difference between a haunting and the poltergeist.
Okay. From everything that I know about a haunting versus a poltergeist, you want a haunting. Right? Hauntings are scary, but they're okay. We endorse hauntings here. But I think of the poltergeist. Let me see here. I am going to Google it. But from what I understand, that a poltergeist, it really can harm you by throwing things around and stuff. A ghost just scares the crap out of you and wanders around and goes, ooh.
Yeah, or not. A ghost can make you hurt yourself.
Yeah, because you're freaking out or you have a heart attack or something like that.
Yeah.
This is where it says here, in the most authoritative source ever in Wikipedia, in ghost lore, a poltergeist, or German for loud ghost or noisy spirit, is a type of ghost or spirit. Okay, so we're not wrong to call it a ghost story. A type of ghost or spirit that is responsible for physical disturbances, such as loud noises and objects being moved or destroyed. Most claims about or fictional descriptions of poltergeists show them as capable of pinching, biting, hitting, and tripping people. No, thank you. So there you go. They have traditionally been described as troublesome spirits who haunt a particular person instead of a specific location. Some variation of poltergeist folklore is found in many different cultures, blah, blah, blah. So there you go, kids. There you go. Poltergeists suck. And they're not actually supposed to be the manifestations of humans, are they? Because like a ghost, I thought a ghost was like some chick wandering around in a nightgown.
No, not really. I mean, I guess they can be people.
Yeah. Well, either way, poltergeists scare the living crap out of you. Before we move on, Accidental Taurus, welcome. He said, I definitely show my age when I describe to younger people sundowner stations. To me, the national anthems, United States and Canada, were the reminder to go to bed. Yep, there we go. Yeah, bedtime. Or in the case of poltergeist, time for the poltergeist to come out and kidnap children. Yeah. So Carol Ann disappears and the phenomenon continues. So they bring in a bunch of psychics.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah. Especially Marty.
Yes.
The poor guy gets bit.
Oh gosh, yeah.
then they make him think he peeled his face off. That's a scene that disturbed me when I was a kid.
I was about ready to say that was one of them. The trees getting the kid through the window, the scary clown, and of course this, because he's tearing his own face off, and it was so graphic. It weren't there maggots too or something?
Yeah, he was in the kitchen getting something to eat, and he had the drumstick in his mouth, and then he had a steak on the counter, like a raw steak, and it starts moving across the counter, and then it starts all these tumors and stuff started coming out of the middle of the steak. And he's like, ugh, he spits the drumstick out he had in his mouth. And then he looks on the floor and the drumstick's covered with maggots.
Yo, yes. I know.
And that's when he runs into the closet to rinse his mouth out. And then while he's in there, he's looking in the mirror and he has that vision of him peeling his face off.
Yeah. Yes, that's another scary part. So then the psychics figure out they can't really do too much, but they can talk to Carol Ann through the television. That also used to scare me. That, yeah, hell, yeah, my mom, all that voice. And help remind me, the little old lady that ends up coming, she's like the super psychic.
Yeah, Tangina.
Why did they end up bringing her in?
I think she had like a more experience than they did, and she could really. I think she was like the true psychic. I think the others were just scientists.
Okay.
And Tangina was the medium.
Understood. Okay, that makes sense because they had all the stuff that maybe would measure it and study them. Her voice alone was also creepy. That also just scared me. And as they were trying to get Carol Ann back, there was this really weird moment that I'm not sure I understood at the time, where Carol Ann's spirit, like, is running away from the bad demon thing, and she runs through her mother.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
That was when the scientists were down in the living room and they were like talking to her through the TV. And then they're talking to her, and then she says somebody else was there with her.
Oh, yes.
And they were like, who's there with you? She's like, I don't know. And then it started scaring her. And then she starts running away, trying to get away from it. Yeah. And I guess they were still like the heart of the house, or where the portal or whatever she went through was through the closet. So I guess they're like near there, and she runs. Her spirit runs from there and runs through the house, through the living room, and it goes through the mom, through the thing. It's going through the. Just remember it had the light there hanging down at the stairs.
Oh yes, and it was flickering and going.
Yeah, so I think they were using the electricity. I think it was going through the electrical line, since the Poltergeist is kind of electrical.
Okay, so it's like with the electrical thing.
Yeah, so it had something to do with that, and that's how I guess that's how they were traveling.
Okay,
anyways, so she was like sitting there, and they both. Carol Ann goes through her mom's soul.
And as a kid, I remember we were inappropriately laughing because she's like, I can feel her. And then she goes, I can smell her. And we all were like, ha, 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 she can smell her. And then the scene turns really scary because
because then the beast runs after her. And the beast runs through the living room.
Yes.
His presence. You hear that growl.
And then she's like, you son of a, stay away from my daughter. And they all start freaking out. Speaking of freaking out, it is Matt Wilkins. I always freak out, but in a good way. Thank you for coming and joining us, Matt Wilkins of Matt Wilkins fame. We are discussing Poltergeist. Do you have any memories? Please let us share it in the chat. Poltergeist, the scary, scary ghost thing. And so they come up with this plan. Where they're going to bring Carol Ann back. And the little psychic lady keeps telling Carol Ann, don't go into the light. She's like, I see a light. And she's like, don't go into the light. Don't go into the light. Why didn't she want her originally not to go into the light?
Because if you go into the light, it means you're crossing over.
Oh. That she's going off to the great beyond. And we didn't want that.
Carol Ann's not dead.
Okay. And the bad spirit might have wanted her to do that.
Yeah, probably. I think that's what it was.
Yeah. But then, when they decide they're going to rescue her and they send the mom into the portal with a rope around her body,
Mm-hmm.
the lady says to go into the light.
Yeah, because the other spirits that needed to cross over were following her, and they wanted to get those spirits as close to the light as possible, so they would go into it. So they needed Carol Ann as close as she could get to it without going into it. Before she could cross over, the mom was supposed to get her. Was supposed to grab her and take her, and then the rest of the spirits would cross over.
Thank you. Okay, because I sucked at understanding some of that. Yay! Now, Matt Wilkins had to come in and say they didn't want her going to the light because Stieg was at the end of it. Stieg is not here to defend himself. And I will just tattletale on you, Matt. I will let him know that you were here. Yeah, Stieg is his nemesis and vice versa. That's a good one. Yes, he would have taught. He would have. Yeah, poor. He's up there freezing to death in Norway and can't defend himself. Well, the worst thing that would have happened, Matt, he would have taught her how to play video games, and that's a good thing. Yeah, we endorse video games here at Miss Martin
and
Muses.
how to cook fish.
Yes, fish. I love fish. It's very healthy for you. So, Maury, the dumb dad freaks out then. It's like, no, you said not to do it. I'm like, what's your problem? Because if the psychic lady's telling you, and so
I guess he didn't really understand either what Tangina was doing.
Yeah.
Because they were first told not to go, and then he's like, you tell her not to go, now you want her to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Tangina couldn't, really outsay what exactly her plan was, because, all the ghosts are listening.
Yeah, they would have heard the plan.
Yeah, they would have heard the plan. So she couldn't say, look, dummy. I just want the spirits close to the light so they will go into it since they're following your daughter.
Yes. And she should have done one of those things that you did to me once, where just kind of give him a little kick, like, shut up. Do you remember when you did that when we were...
No.
We were meeting Belle at Disney World.
No, that was Sleeping Beauty. That's what it was.
Whatever it was, yeah. There were these kids all dressed up, and they're excited. We're gonna meet her. And I go in my very projecting voice, isn't that adorable? They really think they're actually meeting the real Sleeping Beauty.
It is the real Sleeping Beauty.
Well, and then you go, boom! You gave me a snap. Same idea. She should have done that. She should have down on that. Speaking of which, she should have done what Matt is saying to do. He said, I'm punching down on Stieg today. You can tell him that. Okay, and Matt does, a non-Stieg bashing comment. I didn't see this movie until college. Wasn't allowed to watch Scary Movies as a kid because it scared my younger siblings. Good point. I'm questioning the wisdom of my parents allowing me to watch movies like Poltergeist. Yeah. So after he messes up and she chooses not to give him a smack, he starts pulling them all in, and then this big demon head thing.
Yeah, the beast shows up.
Yeah, and gives him hell. Now, because he messed up, is that the reason why the ghost didn't go away for good? Or
I don't know. Or they were just, or the beast was just more powerful than Tangina thought they were.
Yeah. Because she didn't know the full story at that point.
No.
So anyway, so he goes and he pulls, and somehow they travel through the light switch into the bathtub.
Yeah, they come down. Well, it wasn't the light switch. It was like the ceiling. They came through the ceiling. And then they put them into the bathtub to kind of revive them.
Yeah. Okay, it's all making sense now because the mom had Carol Ann in her arms.
Yeah.
And if the dad hadn't freaked out, maybe things might have been different. But yeah, and it was really nice because they think she's dead because she's not breathing, and they sit and get all that gooey stuff off of her, and then she breathes. It's lovely. And they all live happily ever after, except they don't. As you're saying, the phenomenon comes back.
Yeah, I think all the ones that were crossing over crossed over, and then the bad ones were left.
Yeah. And then perhaps one of the scariest parts of the whole thing, when the skeletons start coming out of the swimming pool and stuff.
How about the dog that's guarding the kids' room? The skeletal dog.
Yes. Oh gosh. They had previously established that they built on old cemeteries.
Mm-hmm.
The dude was talking about, we removed everything, we removed the headstone, blah blah. Conveniently leaving out, maybe they didn't get everything, and that's when the man's like, you removed the headstones, but you didn't remove the bodies. And we're all, no, and the skeletons are all coming up out of the swimming pool, and it's really, really, really horrible. And I also liked it because at the time the older daughter, I think, was out on a date.
Yeah.
She comes and she just starts screaming. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's me. That's me right now. Thank you very much. My memory is a little bit fuzzy. My memory's a little bit fuzzy. What happened after that?
Well, they got her in the car, and they went to the hotel because they weren't staying they were moving, and they weren't staying in the hotel that night.
Yeah. So they didn't
at the Holiday Inn.
Yeah. So they didn't actually defeat the spirits. They just said, "We're getting the hell out of here."
Yeah, they just left.
Okay.
And then at the end, the dad rolls the TV out of the motel room. Yeah. Like, no, we're not watching TV.
The genius of those moments is that we would genuinely be afraid to have the TV on with the fuzzies and the end of the national anthem. It stuck with you. Became a cultural phenomenon. And according to what I was reading in the master source Wikipedia, Poltergeist can follow people, which makes sense because of the sequels.
Yeah, because they're not tied to the house or whatever.
Yeah, they're tied to a person.
Yeah, they're tied to a person.
Yeah, we learn a little bit more about what all those skeletons were doing, but that was in the next two movies. Before we finish this up, I want to talk a little bit about the tragedy of what happened to the actress.
Yeah.
Carol Ann. So I didn't know if you wanted to summarize it for us.
Well,
she died at the age of 12. She died very tragically and very young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, she had she was diagnosed with different things, but she was always misdiagnosed, and she had a blockage essentially in her bowels, and nothing was moving, and it just got sepsis and just spread. Toxicity just spread everywhere.
Yeah, and they misdiagnosed her, so they actually probably gave her something that made it even worse.
Yeah.
And sadly, tragically, she died of heart failure, from what I understand. So we lost her far too soon at the age of 12. I remember that. I was in middle school when that happened because we were almost the same age. I think she was a bit older than me. So it was very tragic the way she passed. Then that was ultimately the end of the franchise. The movie came out after her death, but it was such a downer.
Yeah, that was on the third one.
Yeah, the third one. Little girl was dead, and you're thinking, how can I watch this movie now with the little girl being dead so tragically? So that was the end of that. I think previously, who was it? The Accidental Tourist said that 2 and 3 sucked. I pretty much agree with that. I think I agree with that.
2 and 3, the storyline just got messy.
Yes. The best part about the sequels was the backstory of the skeletons. I thought that was interesting, and why they were so restless, those ghosts. They were a Jim Jones kind of a situation where this guy had led these group of fanatics, convincing them that the end of the world was coming, and they had to go to this cave to be safe when it happened. The end of the world didn't come, and then they were stuck, and they died there, and that's part of it, if I'm correct. Well, yeah. And he also was kind of evil anyway, so I think...
he was evil to begin with.
Yeah.
He was always evil.
Yeah, big old cult leader, and so all of that stuff just multiplied it by 10, 100 million, 1,000.
Yeah, so, if you can find the novelization of Poltergeist 2, it explains more of his backstory.
Oh.
What a creep he was.
Oh, I'll bet you he was one of those kind of cult leaders.
Uh-huh.
That's, well, Jesus told me I'm supposed to have all your daughters as wives.
Exactly. I'm supposed to have your little girls. Plus, you know, little girl.
Yeah. Okay, any other final thoughts about Poltergeist?
Well, it wasn't just Heather Robert that died young. It was Dominique Dunn, too. Her boyfriend murdered her.
Yes, very soon after it, too.
Yeah, she was, I think she was working on V, because she was supposed to be that girl.
Yeah, she was supposed to be the chick that got impregnated by the alien. Robin.
Yeah, Robin.
Yeah.
She was playing Robin, but then her boyfriend got jealous and...
Yeah, she was actually doing a rehearsal scene with her co-star. So it happened at his house. He had been stalking her, but something happened that made him lose it when she was with the co-star, and he murdered her. Terrible tragedy. So R.I.P. They had to refilm some of the scenes that she had been in for V, but it was early in the shooting. So you can see her in some establishing shots if you watch V. Okay, well, that's that. Well, we're going to move on to our next ghost movie, which is Lady in White. I felt like this movie was good, entertaining, and occasionally unintentionally funny.
Yeah, the special effects really didn't hold up from 1986.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how good their budget was. Do you want to give us a little bit of backstory on what is Lady in White?
Lady in White was based on a ghost story from where the director lived.
It was in New England, if I'm right.
Mm-hmm. It was based on a New England ghost story called Lady in White. And then he just made his own story
behind her. Like, it was a wandering woman in her nightgown.
Yeah.
Speaking of nightgowns, that's why I'm saying it always seems like ghosts are women in their long, flowing white nightgowns. Did anyone ever wear a blue nightgown? I guess not. Or pink. Yes. So the story was based around the kid from Witness.
Yeah. Lucas Haas.
Yeah, Lucas Haas. Thank you. Where he was a victim of a bullying situation. He was locked into his classroom closet on Halloween by two little jerks. And while he's there, this little girl, this little redheaded girl shows up, and she's all, no, don't do it, and something, and then she's all, bleh, and she gets strangled. But we don't see who's actually doing it. We just see the little girl do it. So essentially, he's witnessing this little girl get murdered. Then, a little bit later, he's still locked in, still freaking out. Someone else comes in and starts to try to get something out of a grate, sees the witness kid, and tries to kill him, but he gets away. I forget how he gets away.
Well, he doesn't get away. He passes out. They thought he was dead, and they finally, I think the dad finally found him.
Oh,
found out where he was, and then they did CPR on him.
There you go. Okay, so the killer sucks. He didn't double check for a pulse or something, so he thought he was dead. That was it. Because I think I got confused. Since what happened as he was dead or dying, he had this out-of-body experience where he saw a whole bunch of like ghosts and things, and the tombstone. He was seeing that there was something going on, and then his dad brings him back. Yes.
Yeah, he had a connection with Melissa. That was the little girl.
The little girl's name. Yeah. And the ghost continues to visit him. Now, those were, for me, the creepiest parts of the movie. I just watched this the first time last Friday with Maury. When you just see these little footsteps, and then you see a rocking chair just rocking back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
That was creepy.
Yeah.
Oh, and then she blows hot air onto the window.
Yeah, it makes a heart.
It makes a heart, yeah. So it's not scary. She's crushing on him, I guess.
Yeah.
But still, you're minding your own business. It's nighttime. You see some breath on the window, and you know it's the ghost. And as the movie continues, we see a whole bunch more mystery unfold, where it appears that a lot of people have been killed in that same area. I think it turns up to be, 15?
11.
11. So we got ourselves a serial killer.
Mm-hmm. Killings have been going on for like 10 years.
Yes.
And Melissa was the first victim.
Yeah, so she was the first. And then the lady in white was kind of separate from that, or so we thought, that there was a story about there was this place that was haunted, and there's this lady in white that would wander along the cliffs, and they had said that the rumor was that she had killed herself, and that was half true, that the mother of the child had killed herself, had thrown herself off, but the lady in white that they were actually seeing was really the ghost, not the ghost, the real person of the grandmother, who was
no.
Oh crap! I messed up. Okay, correct me. What did I get wrong?
There was the ghost, Melissa's mom. She was the lady in white.
Okay,
and they were seen there, and then her sister Anne.
Oh, it was the sister. My fault.
Yeah, it was
Mona from Who's the Boss.
Yeah, Mona from Who's the Boss.
Okay, well, I was close. There was a relative that was human that wasn't really the ghost.
Yeah, it was Melissa's mom's sister,
Okay.
Melissa's aunt. And she was the piano teacher, and then after the tragedy happened of her sister and tragedy happened of her niece, she just went completely insane, and she was locked away for some time, and she had just recently gotten back out.
Okay.
Whenever all this happened again.
Yes. Sorry.
So she was at her house, and she was like the local piano teacher, and so she was just like wandering around and stuff, and she would follow Frankie. That was the little boy's name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she knew Melissa was hanging around Frankie.
Okay, so there we go.
Yeah.
So your poor Frankie, you're finding yourself in the middle of all this, and the ghost was giving him and some hints, and the brother too was also getting some hints.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Gino, correct.
The older brother.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to say how it all gets solved, because that, just in case some people might want to see it, because if you haven't seen it, it is worth a watch. So I'm not going to give.
Yeah, it's a good mystery.
Yeah, it's a very good mystery. So I don't want to give away the ending, but a lot of it is the ghosts helping them to solve this murder, and that there's a very good reason why this particular ghost is doing that.
Yeah, Melissa wants her murder solved, and and then she also wants to find her mother because their spirits are separated.
Correct, because things kind of sucked for them. Before I move on from this story, I want to give a bit of an honorable mention to some very quirky side characters that were in this. The Italian family.
The grandparents.
Yes. They were always speaking Italian. Just really quirky, stereotypical, almost old Italian people. So as all this stuff is going on, they have a lot of humor. There is a lot of humor that you're going to see in this. So they were loads of fun, and the dad was loads of fun. And the way they show small-time life, that was also, I think, a charming part of this movie.
Yeah, and Frankie and Gino's relationship was like the older brother and little brother, how they fuss and play pranks on each other.
Precisely, but when push came to shove, they're really brothers, and they love each other. Yeah. Okay, anything else? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, there was Uncle Phil, played by Lynn Carew. The original Sweeney Todd from Broadway.
Yes, a very good cast. And the dad was an actor from The Godfather. Okay, so anything else you want to say before we move on about Lady in White?
Well, the bullies, Donald, the real bully he was played by Jared Rushton. He was Tom Hanks' best friend in Big.
Oh, I knew I'd seen him from somewhere.
Yeah, he was Billy.
Thank you.
It took to get his house good.
Yeah,
he did. And he was also in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Overboard and Pet Sematary 2.
Oh. Well, there we go. So if you want to see where they got their start, that is a good place to go. All right, well, we're going to continue with our next ghost story. This is one from the 90s, and it is Stir of Echoes. And I hope I got the name right. It is Stir of Echoes. Yeah, okay.
Yes, Stir of Echoes.
At first I was like, is it Stirs of Echoes? And I also saw this for the first time over the weekend at Maury's recommendation. It is a movie by Kevin Bacon, with Kevin Bacon. Another ghost story / mystery. There's this couple that are in Chicago now. So we're out in Chicago. They have a house that they just very recently rented. And when they do so, there's a weird phenomenon that they don't figure out at first, because their son is talking to a ghost, but they don't know that. They just see him staring in space and stuff, but he's actually talking to a ghost and communicating with her. But something changes with Kevin Bacon's character. He goes to a party, and there's a hypnotist. The hypnotist
was his sister-in-law.
Yeah, his sister-in-law. And she decides, ha, let's do a hypnosis thing. Or someone suggests it, because she likes to hypnotize people for a parlor game. And he is drunk out of his mind. He's very, very drunk, rather. So she's like, nah, we shouldn't be doing that. But finally, they talk her into hypnotizing him, and he's all fine, whatever. And something really freaky happens. You just see flashes of it, and they're all laughing and laughing. But the hypnotist did something really dumb. We find this out. Lord, you know what I'm talking about. What did she do while they were under that made you go, oh, sugar?
She was put a suggestion that he should be more open to things, because he was very closed-minded. She wanted him to be more open-minded. So she inadvertently opens his mind, opens up.
Yeah, if she'd have taken a Ouija board and surgically inserted it in his head, that's basically what she did. And I was like, great. So, of course, he starts to be haunted by this spirit that's living in his house, who is a very young Jennifer Morrison of House fame. She played Captain Kirk's mother in one of the Star Trek reboot thingamajiggies, as well as Emma in Once Upon a Time. So she's kind of looking all creepy and trying to get his attention. That's when we realize it becomes like a murder mystery.
Yeah.
Well, I figured out she was murdered. I don't think we knew that she was murdered until the end. There were hints of it because the little boy suggested to his mom, oh, you need to ask so-and-so to babysit for us. And the mom was like, who? It's like, my friend Samantha told me to ask her to babysit because she likes to babysit. So they used her as a babysitter. And when the boy starts talking to Samantha, the sister freaks out. And I'll skip over the details. And it turns out her sister had run away. So she thinks that they have the kid. Or should they know where she is? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she freaks out. It's like, where's my sister? Where's my sister? That's when I figured out that she was probably dead, because if we're seeing her as a ghost, obviously she didn't run away.
Yeah.
And it was probably something nefarious, because it's a ghost story, and nothing is usually very happy with some of these. There's also other hints going on. And again, I don't want to give away the ending, especially if you have not seen it. But the mystery is worthy. They give all the really good hints about what is truly going on and perhaps who the real culprit is. And by the end, Kevin Bacon's character is a Hercule Poirot. He's going around trying to solve this mystery. He's finding the clues. And it's really, really worth it. There were many parts of it that really scared the crap out of me. I don't know, Maury, if they scared you. She heard me. We were watching this together. I was screaming a few times. I was like, ah! So there's definitely some really, really worthy jump scares in it, as well as things that really scared the crap out of me. And by the way, we have the mod with the most ancient one. Thank you for being here and welcoming everyone. And we have Midnight's Edge After Dark. Thank you for being here. I remember it all came out close to another movie with similar, say, twist.
Yeah, Sixth Sense, yeah.
I see dead people. They all copy each other. Remember when there was one year where every movie was being saved from an asteroid, and then every movie was about a volcano erupting, and then every movie was about a tornado? Yeah, they're not very creative, are they? Yeah, but it was scary. There were parts of it that were genuinely scary.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sorry, go ahead.
Well, Stuart Echoes is based on a book that came out in the 1950s, so.
Oh, okay.
But the movie's better than the
book. Tom says I wasn't going to get that specific. We have no scruples here at Miss Martin Muses. We have no scruples here. Come after me, Bruce Willis. Come after me. Or however you say that dude's name. M.L.S. Shyamalan or something like that. Sixth Sense was his best one. Must admit that probably Sixth Sense was the better movie.
Yeah.
Ancient One says, finds out that Miss Martin Musings sees crazy people every day of the week. How did you know? But usually what we call that is living on planet Earth. You see crazy people everywhere. We see crazy people everywhere. So, where was I? Scary. Genuinely scary. I think that Lady in White had some spooky moments, but this had some genuinely scary moments. So, everyone's just saying hi to each other. Yay, I love it. We love it here at Miss Martin Musings.
Yeah, hi, everybody.
Yay, we all like to say hi to each other. We haven't had the polar bear yet. We have had, me, the Rose. We've had the demon cat. Maybe the polar bear will make an appearance, but we like humans as well as animals here at Miss Martin Muses. So, I don't want to give too much away, but I would say it's worth getting together with some family around the living room, turning off the light, watching it. You're going to be entertained by this movie, and you're going to get some good jump scares. Is there anything else you wanted to say about it, Maury?
Well, yeah. The sister-in-law, Lisa, is played by Elena Douglas, who is the daughter of Melvin Douglas. And Melvin Douglas was in another ghost story movie that's really good. Y'all need to check out. It's called The Changeling. The Changeling is a Canadian TV movie, but it was done really well. It has George C. Scott. It came out in 1980, and it's also a mystery ghost story.
Oh.
And it's creepy.
Okay. Well, there we go. When you said changeling, I don't like changelings. Changelings are actually, from the lore I know, they're fairies. And they were the scariest of fairies because...
Well, this doesn't have anything to do with fairies.
Oh, okay. So it's okay. It's just a ghost.
It's
a
ghost.
Yeah, because changelings, they suck. They're not okay.
Once you see the mystery, what happens, you'll understand why it's called The Changeling.
Understood. Okay, well, I'll definitely be sure to watch that one. I have been doing a really good job of my 31 days of Halloween. I've either watched a new movie every day, or I have watched at least 2 hours of some horror miniseries. I did it with The Exorcist season 1, and now I'm doing it with Midnight Mass.
Very good.
Yay, me. Yeah, that's what happens when you're unemployed.
Yeah, I've been watching The Good Witch.
Oh, okay, yes. All right, anything else about the Stir of Echoes? So I'm going to go ahead and change the banner to, just in these last few minutes, opening it up. Anyone else want to chime in with some of their favorite ghost movies? We had some honorable mentions here. You already said it with The Changeling. You would recommend that as a ghost movie?
Yes.
Another movie that didn't make the cut today for various reasons was The Night of the Scarecrow.
The Dark Night of the Scarecrow.
Dark Night of the Scarecrow. Just the title alone. Yeah, I saw that one before.
Also a TV movie, also done very well, and it's creepy, and it will scare the crud out of you.
Okay, you heard it here first. Would the
Mama
fog
did do it?
No, thank
you. Lord.
Would the fog be considered a ghost story?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, I don't like the whole idea of the fog.
Oh yeah, fog's great.
Well, there's some good kitty ghost stories. We have things like the Poltergeist, Beetlejuice.
Oh yeah, Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
I think it's for the most babe.
Yeah, and as always, Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is so much fun. I'm not sure about the new one. I'm afraid. Everything I've been hearing about it sounds like it's good, but I just don't trust Hollywood anymore. Yeah, but Ghostbusters is a good one. So is... I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Another one, it's not a ghost show, is the Ghost Hunters. I know it's full of crap, and I know it's not a movie or anything. Zach and his little team. I swear, though.
Dude. Hey, dude. Is that the one?
Well, and then they're always like, oh, I felt something. What'd you feel? It's like, it's something really cold. It's like, yeah, it's cold. But I love it. And if you're watching it alone at night, it is pretty creepy. Another good part about the Ghost Hunters is they show a lot of the lore around these supposedly haunted areas. That's always loads of fun. I love those kinds where they tell all about it because it makes sense. My personal favorite one on that one was when he was in Jenny Wade's basement at Gettysburg.
Mhm.
And Zach was sure that the ghost pinched his butt. Like, somebody pinched my butt. And then they're all laughing. It's like, no, I'm serious. I'm thinking someone else maybe punched your butt. I was like, Jenny Wade wouldn't have wanted that. So, okay. Oh,
yeah, the Frighteners.
The Frighteners, yeah. Accidental Tourist is suggesting The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox. Another ghost movie that's kind of fun and kiddie is, oh, it just went right out of my head. It was so good, I totally forgot about it. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. Well, Harry Potter. I like the way Harry Potter has ghosts. You couldn't ever call Harry Potter a ghost story, but the whole idea of ghosts just hanging around and that each house has a ghost, that there's a teacher, especially the most boring teacher, that dies and didn't even figure out he had died. So he wakes up and he's all, oh, I gotta go teach class. I forget which one. It was a history teacher, which actually wasn't very nice because obviously maybe she thinks history teachers are boring. We're not. But yeah, those are loads of fun. Some of those stories with ghosts. Scooby-Doo would have ghosts, but yeah.
Some of the not so kiddie ones are Legend of Hell House.
Oh, okay.
The Haunting.
Oh, yes.
The black and white movie.
Yes. Wouldn't Amityville Horror, that would probably qualify? Or is that like a demon one? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, Amityville's kind of entertaining, but
yeah, I've never understood the appeal of it.
Now, well, the house is creepy looking.
Yes, the house. I will grant you that. The house is really scary looking. Okay, Ancient One says, imagine the Lord of the Rings as a horror series. What would it be like if it was told like that? Well, yeah, every 5 seconds there'd be a slasher situation going on. That would be pretty creepy. Well, they did something similar to that with was it Pride and Prejudice and Zombies? Which was silly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but why not? Well, for sure. So there's loads out there of ghosts that can scare you to death. And sometimes,
of course, The Shining.
Oh, duh. Of course, The Shining.
Can't forget The Shining.
Classic. Yeah, goes without saying. Here's Johnny.
I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to bash your brains in. Bash them right the bleep in.
Yeah. Daddy of the Year. Daddy.
Red run.
Yeah. Red run. Yeah. And then she's like, murder! And she starts screaming. No.
Danny, is it him? Mrs. Torrance?
Yeah. Yeah, I watched the sequel to it, Dr. Sleep. I thought it was okay. I thought Ewan McGregor did a good job. He's a great actor. But, didn't scare me, and it just was what it was. Ancient One says, if we look at Shadow of Mordor and its sequel, Shadow of War, the main character can make orcs and trolls insane, almost as if it was a horror movie. Well, stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Accidental Taurus says, in The Electric Mist, based on the book In the Electric Mist with Confederate Dead, is a good ghost story with Tommy Lee Jones. Are you familiar with that, Maury?
No, never heard of it.
Uh-oh. Well, Oops, looks
I had to check it out.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like Maury hasn't seen a horror scary movie. Yeah. Call the press, stop the press, and of course, Tom Lee Jones is great. I always like him.
Yep.
Yeah. My mind's drawing a blank, so I think that those are a lot of them. Please feel free to share in the chat. Please feel free to share in the chat if you have any more ghost stories that you love. Oh, I know what it is. I knew it was going to happen. It popped right into my head. The Haunting of Hill House. Yeah, I know that you don't like it as much as I did.
Yeah, I couldn't get past the first episode.
Yeah. And hey, if that's the way it is, that's the way it is. But holy crud.
Some things hit you, some things don't.
Yeah. I have found with the Haunting of Hill House, it is a certain acquired taste that people either usually really like it or don't like it. It was very unique. For me, it scared the living crap out of me. Scared me to death. And it was probably my fault. I was watching it all alone on a Sunday evening when it was raining and this whole bending neck lady thing. So I say, screw this. And I went over to my sister's house. She's like, what's up? Are you upset? It's like, no. I was just watching the Haunting of Hill House. That's all. All by myself, like an idiot. So I like the Haunting of Hill House. The kind of sequel, Haunting of Bly Manor. It was all right. But there were a few moments worth watching. Okay, Ancient One says, the 1989 Japanese film called Sweet Home Among Us, its NES Famicom counterpart, which is a big reason to why the Resident Evil franchise came to being. Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Loads to see. I think that's the only ones that I have off the top of my head. I am in the middle of Midnight Mass, where I'm not sure if it's a ghost story or not. I haven't figured out who the big bad is yet in it. So it could be. It could be. You know what? The Ghost and Mrs. Murr, that technically is a ghost story. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a love story.
Classic.
Yes. So he's not a scary ghost.
It's not scary. It's a romance movie.
Yeah, it's a funny ghost, and they fall in love. And when she dies, yay, they get to go and be with each other in the great beyond. It had Professor Henry Higgins in it, right?
Yeah.
Rex
Harrison.
Yeah. So if you want to have an old-fashioned love story, ghost story, watch The Ghost and Mrs. Murr. Would you call it a chick flick? Maybe a chick flick.
Maybe.
Yeah, well, you don't have to be a chick to enjoy it. You don't have to be a chick to enjoy it. So there we are. Those are our ghost stories. Speak now or forever hold your peace. We are about ready to wrap up this party. I will be streaming later on tonight on OG Star Wars' channel. Would you mind, Ancient One, putting the link to her YouTube in the chat? She's going to be having the book discussion of The Truce of Baccarat, the Star Wars EU book, The Truce of Baccarat, which takes place immediately after Return of the Jedi. That's where I'm going to be on. And then on Saturday morning, we are going to be having another episode of The Two Towers, or rather beginning The Two Towers. We finished up the Fellowship of the Ring book last week, and we're continuing with the book The Two Towers. That will be this Saturday. With my panel. So if you haven't ever read The Lord of the Rings, if you haven't ever read The Fellowship of the Ring, if you haven't read all three of them, they all have the same title, actually. I said, please do so. Please do so. They're great. And even though we are very lucky that we have a great adaptation of all three books, adaptation of all three books. At the end of the day, nothing ever truly beats the book, does it? Yeah, so Let's see. Here it is. Ancient One has a great little thing for OG. Alora. She dedicates herself to the George Lucas era of Star Wars. Yes, and please check out her link. Also, this Sunday night, there will be a discussion of Midnight Mass over on Nina's channel. There will be a discussion of Midnight Mass on Nina's channel. I suspect that people might be really... Because sometimes I know too much about the subject matter in real life, and they play... Well, so far they haven't really made a lot of liberties with Catholicism. I will give them that. Yet. So it's not like The Exorcist where I was sitting there going, oh, no. They would never have had that young priest who's doubting his faith be an exorcist. Just doesn't happen. Though, my gosh, they really mess up their description of rehab. Let me just put it that way. But we'll see. Maybe there's a reason for it. So that's why I've not yet had the wrath of Khan come upon them yet, because I need to see where this is going. But so far, it's kept me engaged. And as I always say, with a book, if it keeps you turning the page, if a movie or miniseries keeps you watching, well, then they are entertaining. We have a question from Ancient One. We have a question, Miss Martin Muses. When will OG Star start that live stream featuring you? Oh, it is tonight at 8 o'clock Central. Yeah, it's going to be me, Rev Kev, and possibly Steeg, depending on his sleep schedule. So, yeah, OG Star Wars does great stuff with the EU, and it's always loads of fun. I enjoy these streams because I go back and revisit these books that I read years ago. So if you don't like Disney Star Wars, and who does, just forget that it happened. Forget anything happened. 7, 8, and 9 was just fan fiction, and bad fan fiction at that. Read the EU. You will get the sequel to episode 6 that you wanted to have. So it's going to be loads of fun. Any last thoughts, Maury? Any last thoughts?
No. Next week we're doing dolls, right?
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, next week the theme is dolls. Come with your dolls movies. We love dolls.
Not for long.
We don't. I endorse dolls here, but I do not endorse dolls scary movies. No, I do not. Okay, Ancient One's asking, do we want to raid? Sure. If you want to raid Lightning Farron, go ahead. Please put the information in the chat. So everyone watch doll movies, and go ahead and talk to me about them on Twitter. And we'll see what we can come up
Teresa
with.
and I will be watching Dead Silence on Friday.
Okay, Dead Silence. I couldn't remember the name of the title. So, yeah, we're going to be watching Dead Silence. So if you've never seen Dead Silence, go ahead and watch it. That will be one of those we will be discussing. I am doing this on Face. I'm doing this on faith that it doesn't suck, because so far Maury has not led me astray. She has not led me astray with her horror. We shall see if she finally begins.
Yeah, you wanted something scary? I'll give you something scary. Watch Dead Silence.
Okay.
Be prepared not to sleep.
Oh, marvelous. Okay. Well, there you go. You're going to have something that really doesn't just tick you off, but something that really... really scares
you had to sleep with all the lights on in the house, and
oh great! And I got all these cats that are going to be staring at me. I'm like, no, you look like a doll. All right, we're going to close out this party. Thank you, everyone that popped in. Thank you, Ancient One. Thank you, Keck. Thank you, Accidental Tourist. Thank you, Zake Rot 315. We had Ancient One. Wait, I already said Ancient One. We had Matt Wilkins come in and punch down on Steeg while he was not here. We had Sultan Isaim, and thank you. And we did have a visit from ME, if I got the thingamajiggy right. And if I missed anyone, it's not because I'm a jerk. It's because I missed it. Please go ahead and raid Lightning Farron. Please go ahead and raid Lightning Farron. And be certain, everybody, be certain to not turn out your lights when you watch the doll movie this Friday.